excited. It's a beautiful day to save lives, hence the play on McDreamy here. Have you ever wanted to incorporate your faith into your everyday life, or even your job, or for the students in the room, into your extracurriculars, your job, or future career, but you don't know how? Well, neither did I, but here's what the Lord showed me through Capstone. Ever since I was little, I struggled to find my place in this world, but the medical field appealed to me in a way that I believed nothing else would. There was 2 significant events in my life that strongly solidified this calling for me. The first was living with a grandfather who struggled with Alzheimer's and family members who worked day and night to make sure that he was comfortable through this scary time. This modeled the life I truly wanted to live, because seeing how my family members were able to support him and share God's comfort in a way that he recognized, even if he wasn't able to understand it. Seeing how scary something like this can be for the person involved strongly pulled at my heartstrings and opened my eyes to my gift of compassion. This part of my story helped me feel called to provide comfort to people in some scary moments and to provide compassion amidst suffering when they feel nothing but hopelessness. The second event that pushed me in the direction of the medical field was my car accident. A little over a year ago, I was driving by myself, late at night, headed home from work, when I made a turn and a driver pulled out in front of me and we collided. Immediately, I was panic-stricken and I honestly had no idea what to do. Eventually, I was able to pull myself together and drive over to a nearby parking lot where I was able to call my parents. I later found out that the other person involved was drunk and in a stolen car, so he fled the scene, leaving me all alone. Once the paramedics showed up after what felt like forever, they immediately began calming me down and comforting me because they knew how terrified I was. They calmed me down and talked me through the situation, asking questions in a way that didn't feel like interrogation, and I no longer felt alone. Knowing that I had someone who was in control of this scary situation was super comforting to me. Even though it was a pretty minor accident, they still recommended that I go to urgent care for a follow-up, which I really appreciated because I could tell that they cared about my well-being. It was in this moment that I was able to see their compassion, or able to feel their compassion, and there was clarity guiding me to where I was supposed to be, a paramedic. I had found my place in the medical field, which is where I had always wanted to be. This also helped me realize how important it was to me to be able to incorporate faith in some way, because no one shares the hope like Jesus. 2 Corinthians 1:3-4 says, "Praise be to the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of compassion and the God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our troubles, so we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God." I've been blessed with the gift of compassion, and I want to use that to comfort people in their suffering and be by their side when they need somebody. I also want to be able to use my work to help guide people to the gospel through prayer, even if I can't always do that through words. These events helped me realize that I can share the hope of the gospel through the medical field. I want to be able to share hope and comfort the same way those paramedics did for me that scary night, or the way my family members did for my grandfather. My hope is to be able to comfort people with my gift, save lives through Christ, and pray for each and every one of my patients, because I believe that is what I'm called to do. Now that I believed I had finally found my calling amidst this field, the first thing I pursued through Capstone was how I could actually become a paramedic. At first, I had my heart set on being an EMT, but this experience showed me that that wasn't going to be enough for the type of person that I am. And I believe that is because I strive to do as much as I can to help as many people as I can. For Capstone, I was given the opportunity to join in a ride-along with a company called Stadium Medical, where I was able to help transfer senior citizens from the hospital to our ambulance and then take them back home. Although this wasn't the most exciting experience, it was still super inspiring because I was able to see how something as small as this could have a huge impact on these people. Knowing that I was able to comfort them and safely bring them back home helped show the benefits of my compassion. Another event where the effects of my compassion were very evident was when I again joined Stadium Medical at a concert called Decadence. Let me set the stage for you. This is a rave concert, New Year's Eve, there's a couple thousand people there, and it was in downtown Denver. Needless to say, this was a little bit more exciting than that other ride-along. I was invited to be a shadow figure for the roaming and first aid teams they had in place. The roaming team was in charge of going on concert grounds during the concert to find anybody that they could see in any form of distress and pull them out so that the first aid team was there to comfort them and to address their needs. This was so much fun because I was able to see how important something like this was in a setting like this. Due to the fact that it was in a concert setting, a lot of these people were on a lot of different types of drugs, and that has had some pretty negative effects on them. Knowing that I was able to pull them out and comfort them and calm them down was really inspiring, and it felt really good. My job, while also providing for their immediate needs, was to make sure that each patient felt cared for. I wanted them to be able to trust me and not be afraid of something worse happening to them, especially those on drugs who were disoriented and confused. Although this is not the most high-paying job out there, it is still so very rewarding. Even if I don't use my training to save someone's life, I'm able to see that I am allowed to have a lasting impact upon these people. During some downtime we had between patients, the EMTs that I was shadowing explained the medicine they were allowed to administer and the procedures they were allowed to carry out. I didn't realize, in comparison to EMTs, that paramedics are allowed to do a whole lot more. Paramedics are allowed to carry out a lot more intricate procedures. Specifically, they can apply pacemakers, intubate people, and insert IV lines, whereas EMTs can only carry out the more basic aspects like taking someone's vitals. This moment provided a lot of clarity for me and showed me that I want to do it all. I want to undergo the extensive training that paramedics go through in order to challenge myself in a way I've never been challenged before. I also want to be able to use my training in a way that people feel called to help benefit others. I believe that pursuing the EMT side of this operation would limit me too much and I would not be able to work to my full potential. I love the idea of finding a solution amidst the chaos and using my training to change someone's life. This idea makes me feel alive. Beyond the steps I was taking towards my future career, Capstone helped me prioritize my array of values that I had outside of the job, but also allowed me to see what this job would actually require of me. I had to acknowledge the fact that this job takes a huge emotional toll on people, and learning the tools in order to contain these emotions is paramount to success. The first thing I had to address through this was the fact that I get attached to people really easily, especially those in my prayers. If I truly wanted this to work and I truly wanted to become a paramedic, I would have to learn how to contain my emotions while still providing adequate care. Although this was really hard for me to accept, I had to take a step back and see that my desire for these connections can negatively affect me if I become too involved. I also had to see that there was going to be a lot of things out of my control in this field, and no matter how hard I work to help, save, and comfort somebody, they won't always accept it or it won't always be effective. I have to learn how to prepare myself mentally on top of the job expectations or it could physically tear me apart. The genuine connections I am so drawn to must look different in this field or it will affect my mental health in ways that are out of my control. Alongside the ride-along I was allowed to go on, I was able to interview an EMT named Ben Hilliker, and he spoke on these in a way that really resonated with me. He said that you aren't with your patients for super long, so it's actually a lot harder to form those connections than I first anticipated, and that was really encouraging. He also said, be there in the moment, then move to the next moment, trying to be as authentic as possible, and I believe that is what's going to help me the most. Seeing that it's actually a lot harder than I expected to form these connections, I have to tweak my outlook a little bit in order to still provide superb care without the fear of getting too attached. During Capstone, I was able to see myself learn and grow in a way that expresses my compassion, but also I was surprised to see myself developing in confidence as well. I've always struggled to grow in this area, and ever since I was little, I couldn't find something that benefited me in this way. As Capstone progressed, however, I was able to see myself connecting with this field. I was able to see that I had found my place in the medical field, which is where I had always wanted to be. Seeing how easily my natural gift can be incorporated showed me that I am more than capable of achieving this dream. Because I felt certain this is where I wanted to head in my future career, I had to address the fact that I still struggle for perfection. During my ride-along, I was very nervous around the patients I was with, and I believe that is because of my empathy. One patient specifically was in the hospital for a drinking problem, and I immediately felt an emotional pull towards her. I wanted to do everything in my power to comfort her, but I just believed I wasn't strong nor knowledgeable enough to make a difference. I've always strived to be as perfect as possible, and I want that to be included in the care I provide. I don't want this strive to hold me back from doing the things I love and affect the people in my care. If not taken seriously, my strive for perfection can override the needs of my patients, causing me to second-guess my judgment. I want to be able to overcome this and trust in the knowledge and training that I've obtained. My emotions are what draw me toward and away most of the things in my life, and I don't want that to get in the way, and I want to believe in the strengths to be able to help anybody that I can. The paramedics that I was shadowing gave me advice on the necessity for an outlet, like a hobby or an activity, that give me a way to work through the things that happen on the clock. This gave me a better understanding of the fact that people will acknowledge the hardships that come with this career. I am my own worst critic, and I need to believe in those who want to help me. Throughout Capstone, I was able to find a beautiful yet fulfilling way to incorporate faith and family into my future career. I know this will not at all be easy, but I strive to find a balance between these two dreams of mine. Though I am pursuing this career for my future, one of my hesitations would be that I would not be able to have a family of my own while also pursuing this career. Ever since I was little, I struggled to find my place in this world, but family was always in my heart. During my interview with Ben, I was able to ask him questions on the subject. I asked him, "Can I have a family while also pursuing this career?" And he said, "You have to want it and you have to make time for it." Knowing who I truly am as a person, I know I would 100% be willing to make the sacrifices it would take, and seeing that my dream is achievable encouraged me with a new depth. Another value that Capstone helped me see was the fact that I wanted to find a tangible way to incorporate faith into this career. Although it wasn't my intention at the beginning, Capstone helped push me in the direction of prayer amidst the chaos of a paramedic's daily life. I know this may be a far stretch, but I hope to pray for each and every patient in my care, because I believe that is how I'm supposed to spread the love of Christ. Even if I can't directly pray for my patients, I hope to pray for them in private or share something else that will benefit them in a lasting way. Due to privacy issues in this field, prayer with a patient might not always be possible, but prayer for them always will be. I believe that I have finally found a fulfilling way to blend these two ideas into one. My gift of giving someone witness that exudes the much-needed comfort they need is what I strive to do. My witness of being calm, controlled, and compassionate allows them to feel the comfort of Christ, because I am his hands and feet. If this process has taught me anything, it would be that no matter how unrealistic your dream may seem, pursue it, because you have no idea where you're going to learn in the process. For me, I was able to see where God wanted me to be and how he wanted me to share his love through my work. My eyes have been fully opened to this career field, and I am more motivated than ever to achieve this. I believe God is going to use me in many significant ways to share his gospel. If you are willing to put in the effort that it takes in order to achieve your dream, by all means do it. God has a purpose for each and every one of us, and it is our job to find our place in this world. I also believe that as Christians, we should be using prayer as a form of healing, but also as a form of praise. Is there a way you can incorporate faith into your everyday life? Can you act in a way that shows the love of Christ? Can you pray for coworkers even if you work from home? This idea has become so very important to me over this process, and I hope that I can complete the work God has set out for me. God needs to be a part of our everyday lives, so how can you make Christ more evident in your life? Capstone challenged me in a way that surprised me, but was something I should have expected. Being an emotional person is just how God created caregivers. If I want to accomplish this dream successfully and glorify God through my calling, I have to be able to control my emotions and myself without losing sight of the goal, and trust in God's guidance and training, because there is no doubt in God's work. My challenge for you would be, how can you make Christ more known in your ordinary, everyday actions, habits, and responsibilities? Thank you.